Welcome everybody to another episode of Transparency Talks podcast. We have an exciting show for you today. I'm super excited about this guest that we have on the line with us right now. We have Miss Vanessa Henderson, who is an international designer. She is a radio host. She's a magazine editor, a mentor, influencer, community activist, a motivational speaker, and a wardrobe stylist. How you doing, Vanessa?
Doing great. And yourself?
I'm doing really good. It's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know it has been since before COVID.
Yeah, it has been. So we're just gonna dive right on in because you got a lot of stuff that you're doing, and I'm super excited about everything that God is having happen in your life and everything. So let's just dive off with and start with you being an international designer, Van Miller International. Can you tell everybody about your company?
Well, it's called, my company is Van Miller International, Van being short for Vanessa, and Miller is my family name. It's a business that I've had probably for over 40 years now, and I've just sort of like, my name is sort of grew as I've grown, and so here we are, Van Miller International, yes.
Okay. And so who are some of the artists that you've worked with? Not just artists, you've worked with a lot of artists, you've worked with a lot of singers, a lot of actors, a lot of different people that you have styled and designed. Who are some of the people you've worked with?
Well, some of them we can't tell you, but I've had, wow. If you would ask me that right off the top of my head. I'm not good with their names, but
I know you worked with Angie Stone on her project.
Yeah, I did Angie Stone, and I did Darlene McCoy. I did Quad and her, some of the girls from Sister Circle. Did some of them. I got somebody real big that I'm working with right now, and just excited. From our male side, we did some stuff with Omar Gooding, and little people like me.
Okay. So how did you even get into the industry?
Wow, so I am the oldest of 6 kids, and my mother used to actually make these bow tie quilts, and each one of us were responsible for a piece of that quilt. And I guess I was probably about 5 or 6 years old when we were doing that. And from there, I always said that I was going to be a designer, never really knowing that where I am now would be the outcome of it. It's just something that I've always been interested in. No matter what kind of job I've worked, it's always been geared to who and what I am now.
Okay, so you caught the bug at age 5 or 6, but when did you actually get started and say, you know what, I'm about to make this a living?
Probably after I had been maybe like 76, 77. Is when I really actually started, because I was making my ex-husband's suits. I was doing everything that my children were wearing. I was making it. And then I actually went to work for Gingham Formal Wear, and one of my associates there, he started telling people, well, she could make a wedding gown, and and I just never really thought that I could. But my first wedding gown big wedding gown that I made was when I was working for Gingham Formal Wear. So that sort of catapulted me into that. And then I had Vanessa's Bridal Image, which was a full service bridal salon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
So when you are looking at your models and different things for your different projects that you're working on, what do you look for?
You know what? A lot of people think, especially with me, I'm an industry standard designer. It was sort of a category that I was placed in after a number of years. And so, but I personally, I feel like beauty is an inward to be an outward. So a model can be really beautiful, but how she carries herself and how she looks at other people can a lot of times determine whether or not I'm going to use her, because inward ugliness makes outward ugliness. And
Absolutely.
so I'm just that person. I have to connect with your spirit and feel that you're gonna portray what it is that I'm actually looking for.
Okay. Now for people that don't know what industry standard is, what is that mean?
That's normally like a model that's going to be 5'9", 5'10", or taller.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So you look at short models like me that's 5'2" and a half and stuff.
No, but you know what? Now I realize that models come all shapes, sizes, and height.
Gotcha. So how would a model catch your attention when you're casting? How do they catch your attention? Because they're not speaking at this moment; they're only walking.
I watch them when they come in the door.
Gotcha.
Looking at them when they come in the door, I look at them as to how they interact with the other people that are in the room. I pay attention to whether or not they follow instructions as to what they were to be wearing in the room into this casting. My number one pet peeve is if they do not have a heel. That is the worst for me. If they don't have a heel,
right? Yeah, might as well leave. That's a standard. Yeah.
That's it. I'm like, you don't really know what you're doing if you don't have a heel.
Yeah. But you just dropped some really good knowledge right there, because people think that they're only on once it's showtime or once they're auditioning, but it's the same thing for me in the music industry. You're on as soon as you walk through that door, so you need to have your A game on, and it's not just about what you're doing when it's time for you to work. It is about who you're interacting with, how you're behaving, or not behaving, but how you're acting, how you're treating other people, if you can follow instructions and everything like that, because one thing can easily lead to another. I know that you have been in plenty of situations where you got more, I was going to say gigs, I'm so used to saying gigs, but you got more opportunities based off of somebody seeing you at some other place doing work, correct?
Yes. It's even that way being a designer. You're always on stage. Mm-hmm. People are always looking at, does she really have what it takes to be in this space? I find that here in the Atlanta market, it's just, we say that we're the next New York. We have a long ways to go. Okay, I'm just saying it like that.
Yeah.
We have a long ways to go, because you think you're ready does not always mean that you're ready.
Yeah. What I've noticed about the Atlanta scene is there's a million designers, but that's the same thing in the music industry. There's a million singers, but it takes to get out of, I'm not gonna say you're just starting, but to get to a different level in designing, how do you stand out to get to that other side of designing? Because there's some designers that do, there's so many not talent shows, there's so many fashion shows, but are they making headway? Are they really getting out there when they need to?
I don't think so, because I feel like we are in a market where every weekend there are 3 or 4 fashion shows, and each show has broken up the people that are attending, and most of the time you're going to see the same models no matter where it is that you're going. Mm-hmm. And so I think that you can oversaturate the market with your brand and who you are, so you have to learn to be, pick and choose where you're going to be.
Yeah. I've also noticed that when I do go to a couple of the fashion shows, I can go to the fashion show and then go to another one several months later, but it's the same designer and it's the same outfits. So how does that really help you really get out there? Maybe it's because the audience is different, maybe, I don't know.
Well, I'm always creating, so I think that I don't want to I don't want people to see me even 3 months from now. I don't really want them to see me with the same thing.
Right.
So it's a time and a space where you really have to be able to commit to constant change.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not, oh, I'm saving this. You're saving this for what? Now,
right.
if it's something that you're using to put it in some other platform, it's great. But to continually go to the same shows where we know we're going to see the same people,
yeah,
and show the same product is asinine. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. So what advice would you give a designer that's coming out, that's trying to move from the fashion shows to now getting their stuff placed in editorial shots and different things like that?
What I would say to them, whatever it is that you're designing, does it make a statement on its own? Mm-hmm. Or does it look like the norm of what everybody is doing? Mm-hmm. That's going to be your number one thing. Mm-hmm. Is this something that nobody else is going to see? Because otherwise you would just may as well go to a store and purchase what it is that you're going to purchase.
Right.
And it's a great idea to have something that stands out, put it on the runway, then take it off the runway, and that way you're able to put it in other spaces. Now, I have some pieces that I've used several times, and they've been shot on several different covers. It's the same piece, but the individual makes that piece and that product live. So that's the other thing. How is it something that, there's some designers, I only sold for zeros. You can't, where are you going with the zero? How many women out there are just a zero?
Right.
So then you've already put yourself in a box and you don't have anywhere to go.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that I noticed with your brand is that your brand is very diverse, from the men, the women, the sizes, the ethnics and everything. How important is it to branch out and be diverse?
For me and my brand, it is very, very important. I truly understand when I hear designers say, I want to cater to my people, but are my people buying?
Right.
Are my people really seeing what it is that I'm putting out there? If my people are the only people coming in sitting on the seat, then where does that leave us?
Right.
So I'm about diversity. If you invite me to a show, I need you to be diverse. We need everybody to be in the space. Because I honestly sell more product off the runway when I'm in other markets with the diversity than I do in a market where we just have our people there.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, there's so many markets that as a designer you can go into, not just on the runway. You can merge or partner with various artists that's out there. You can partner with actors. You can partner in magazines and so many other things that I think some people kind of miss that mark, but you have definitely taken full advantage of all of the opportunities. I mean, you see that you have to go into other markets. You're even in playwriting, and I mean, you're doing a lot of different things that you've merged your design stuff into.
You constantly have to tell yourself what else is it that you have that's going to set you apart and make you stand out to where people will see you. It's great to travel, and I tell people when they say, I'm going to New York, it's great to go to New York. But you went to New York on your own. And I mean, I've been to New York, I did New York, but I'm not going back to New York unless somebody in New York says, Van Miller, we want you in New York.
Right.
Just to go there, when I see people say, we're going, you spend the money and you're off in a back street somewhere in a building with 10 people in the audience, and you spent $2,000-$3,000 to go there for 15 minutes of fame, because that's about all you're going to get on the runway there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there.
Wow, I never knew that. It's definitely great when somebody calls you and pays for you, to do and showcase your work. I get called all the time overseas. I think it would be a little hard.
You've been blessed when it comes to that arena. But you know what? I find now that since I've sort of like changed my platform, that my opportunities of being paid, it has really changed, because even designing, when I say this is how much I'm charging for that, people respect that and they don't question.
Now, for a new designer that's coming out, how do they negotiate their prices? Because you want your stuff out there, but you're new. But you also, you can't keep doing it for free. So how do you break that barrier?
I think that number one is knowing your worth. Number two, did you put in the work for me to see you, to want to pay you to do that? Number three is the quality. The quality of your work. Is it subpar? Do you know that the client can take it and go where they want to go and it doesn't fall apart at the event? So quality is the number one thing, because when we're out, we hear other people talking about other designers, and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to hear their name. I don't want to hear them saying, because it's still my industry, and I don't want to hear them talk about other designers, whether they're new or old.
Right.
So as a older, seasoned designer, I feel that it is our responsibility to put in to our up and coming designers, but they have to want to listen.
Yeah.
And make changes to get where it is that they want to get. To know you can't jump out here saying I want $500 for something, and you went and spent $299 for 3 yards of fabric, and now you want $500.
Right.
So you gotta do the work.
So you just mentioned about mentoring and everything. Do you mentor other designers?
I have designers that I do mentor. I have a couple here in Atlanta. Most of them are not in the Atlanta market. I find that a lot of times, and to be honest, I think that a lot of them think that they know everything that needs to be, that they need to know.
Right. And one of the biggest things is that you have to be coachable.
Yeah, and they're not coachable. I actually had last year a project called The Business of Fashion. Now, with the Business of Fashion, we actually talked about everything from startup, being a fashion designer, and even we actually had somebody to come in from Tyler Perry Studios to talk about how do we get our product in those spaces. There were no Atlanta designers there.
Oh, wow.
We did it for about 8 months. And every time we had about 20, 30 designers there. There's a whole underground market of designers in Atlanta. You never see them on the runway, but they're out there.
Wow.
They came to listen, and they reach out to you to want to know things, because I'm a person that if you have a question and you ask me, I'm gonna get an answer for you. But you gotta say, you can't say, well, she thinks she knows everything. No, I don't know everything, but I'm willing to share what it is,
right,
that I know.
And then some people, for designers, and I can speak for the music industry, we don't like to go to other singers, or probably in your case, other designers don't like to go to other designers because it makes them feel like that, they're asking for help or whatever the case may be. But at this particular point, if you're trying to get to another level, you should absolutely look into or speak to somebody that has been at that level, or that is at that level that you're trying to acquire, and be humble enough to ask.
Well, let me tell you, the thing of it is, I have a degree in fashion design. And one thing that you will learn in school is there is nothing new under the sun. People are always like, oh, I'm afraid they're going to take my idea. You know what? I can come and look at your stuff and change 2 or 3 buttons and a split, and it belongs to me.
Right.
And we need to know that. Oh, they copied my work. No, they didn't copy your work.
Right.
You know, they're like, oh, let me get this trademark and marked and all of this. Why are you getting it trademarked?
Right. Because there's only so many ways you can make pants. There's only so
many ways that you can make pants. And the trademark person's gonna take your money because you don't know that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that is the reason why you are 3-time winner of Designer of the Year. Know these things. So tell me a little bit about your radio show. You being a host.
Oh, wow. So it's the Van Miller Talk Show, I Found My Voice. Okay. The Van Miller Talk Show, I Found My Voice, basically is a platform to where I can talk about a little bit of everything. It does not necessarily all have to be about fashion. And we can meet people where they are, sort of like you, transparent. We gonna talk about it, you know. So it is something that actually God gave me a couple of years, and I just started saying, you know, I found my voice. At 60 years old, I realized that I had a voice. And so I've just taken that and, you know, put it to another space and another level of I found my voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about you being a magazine editor. I had the pleasure of working with you on one project before.
Wow. Well, at the present moment, I am the editor with NYSFE magazine out of New York.
Okay.
Definitely dealing with fashion and beauty. I love Rose and her staff of people. And we actually there's a showroom here in the Atlanta market now down on Forsyth, in the Henley building. Beautiful space. If you get an opportunity to go there, I would, admonish you to go. It's a space where you can go and do like release parties. You can have events and things there. So it's a beautiful space. And then during COVID, I actually became the editor of the Mother-Daughter Bonding magazine. It's a magazine geared to mothers and daughters. We find that a lot of times they, mothers and daughters, like my daughter's my best friend. And I'm just like, okay, your daughter's your best friend. Your daughter, you're the mother. And so my daughter said that to me. I'm like, your best friend didn't have you. Your mother had you. So I'm not your best friend. I'm your mother. So the mother-daughter experience basically talks about we have mothers in pain, we have daughters in pain, we have people that they just stop communicating with each other, and we don't even know why. So this space has been a great place for that. We actually have the Mother-Daughter Global Movement, which is going to be absolutely amazing. So I'm just enjoying that because for me and my daughters, we have sort of a broken space in our life, and I feel that if nothing else but for myself, it will help to bring healing to me, and somebody else may be able to give me the words that I need to hear that I can't find. So I'm just honored to be the editor of that magazine.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Now, you are also a wardrobe stylist and have done a lot of different plays, and you've also are doing films and everything now. So can you tell me about that?
Well, I did. Last year I did the Rialto Theater where I costumed 50 people on stage for the American Black Princess. We were actually supposed to go to New York in July, but COVID kept us from doing that. We traveled with Sunday Worshiper. We did I Have a Dream, the New York Broadway musical. We have some current things that I actually just won an International Platinum Costume Design Award in July for Son of Sheba. I have Hands Up. Hands Up is the movie that's in the festivals right now. Actually got to in Hands Up, I was actually the wardrobe supervisor for Hands Up, the movie. And COVID, for myself, I did my own stage play called Finish the Dream.
Okay.
And then I actually have a couple of projects that I'm working on as a producer on my own. So I just feel like the beginning of this year, I said, I'm going to be a producer, and God listens to what it is that we're saying. And so I'm just thankful that He has put me in that space.
Yeah. We had talked about you doing some production and everything and transitioning. It's so cool to see both of us transitioning from just being a singer for me or just being a designer to so many other things. And you had told me about that. So
I actually just did Driver's Chronicles. I actually was a mother in Driver's Chronicle. My sister was in hospice, and they said, well, we think you would be great for this part. And I'm like, I can't learn all those lines. But I learned all of those lines, and it was absolutely amazing. I have another piece that's in the festivals right now as well. And I played Dr. Miller.
Nice.
In there, another project, I just have product placement, like billboards. There's a movie coming out, and you just see my billboards in it. And then I have been the host of Why Did I Become a Model on Amazon Prime. I've been on Fox. It's just Netflix. It's just been crazy. The last couple of years have just been absolutely amazing. At 62 years old, all of these opportunities. Last week they said, we want you to come and be a grandmother in a commercial. So I went and I was a grandmother. I had an 18-year-old grandson in this commercial that's going to be coming in. So just working every day.
Well, that's awesome. So I didn't even know. I knew that you was behind the scenes doing production, but no, you also an actress now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. So with your productions and everything, are you the executive producer of it, or are you actually writing the stuff as well?
I'm the producer.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm the producer.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I see your chest flared up when you said that. That's something to be really proud of.
You know what? It is sad. I tell a lot of people, I'm like, COVID has been good to me, because people are like talking about COVID, and I'm like, but COVID has been really, really good for me. It was an opportunity for me to slow down doing all the fashion shows and other things, to really get a grasp on who I really am and the talent that God has put in me.
Yeah. I would say the same for me. I think since this COVID has happened, actually a little bit before COVID, since my knee surgery, I had to figure out, okay, what else am I good at? Because if I can't be on stage and I'm not overseas, you gotta pay the bills.
You gotta do something. You gotta do something else. And that's what our year has been like, because we hear people say 2020, like 2020 is over. Yeah. There's still a lot of work to be done in 2020. Yeah. So, I'm just out here working.
Yeah. I do think that 2020 has given everybody an opportunity to hit a reset button and look inward a lot, because it slowed down so many things. So hopefully people were taking advantage of the fact that it did slow down time and let you really figure out who you are and what your next moves are and everything. So let's talk about you've had heart surgery.
I had a procedure a couple months ago, and I'm in rehab. I had congestive heart failure 6 years ago.
Okay.
I was, I did well. I'm gonna say I did well with it, and it was, COVID, and my father passed, my sister passed. I just think that it was just a life stress that just, pushed me in a space. And so I had a procedure done, and I'm in rehab, and I'm enjoying being in cardiac rehab because I'm still, you're never too old to learn, and I'm still learning a lot of things about congestive heart failure and knowing and understanding that you're not ever out of the woods.
Yeah. Now, how important is it to, with you always on the go and everything from all of your different businesses that you're doing, how important is it to slow down a little bit because of your health?
I feel that I have really slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
I've really slowed down a lot. A lot of people may not think I have, but I have. I've stopped dragging all those clothes and all those things around so much, and where I am going most of the time is just myself. Mm-hmm. So that takes a load off because you're not having to do cleaning, getting clothes clean, getting clothes unpacked, repacked, and getting it where it needs to be, doing all these fittings and things. So I have slowed down a lot, but I take my life really serious. Mm-hmm. Because I got a lot of things left to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me see. I'm trying to figure out some more of my other questions that I had for you. So, what's one of the main things that you have learned through life? Your life lessons.
I think I would say my number one life lesson that I've learned is to live your life. Live it. Because if you don't live it, somebody else will live it for you.
Yeah.
So, and that one of my sayings is you can't be held prisoner to your past. So I refuse to be held prisoner to my past. I apologize as much as I can do that. So I have to move forward, move on.
Yeah, and it is important to be able to just move on. Like you just said, the only thing you can do is just apologize and just keep it moving. Yeah. That's some really good advice.
And by the way, I have a Van Miller Moscato.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
So the Van Miller Moscato just sort of like fell in my lap. Mm-hmm. I was at a taping, and this guy comes and we started talking about my favorite drink, and I said, "Oh, it's Moscato." So that evening, he sent me the label that said Van Miller exclusive, and I was just like, "Oh, this is crazy." And
wow.
Next week, he comes with a bottle with red Moscato in it. So, being from the church world, I was sort of nervous and, thinking, what would the church people say? So I had it like in November, and I really didn't do anything with it. Till January, I went home, and one of our bishops said, there's something in your next season that's going to put a lot of zeros in your account, but you're afraid of what the church people are going to say.
Oh, wow.
That was
confirmation.
It was confirmation for me. So I came back, and I think now I have like 8 flavors. I have product placement in a television series with it, and that actually got me written into the next show that they're doing.
Oh, wow.
With that, and I have September the 12th, I have my first client that we're sponsoring, and he's dropping his new music. And I have another client who's getting ready to drop a book, and so I'm with it. So it's sort of paying and making his own way.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to try some of your Moscato because I like Moscato. I don't like a lot of different wines and everything.
Yeah, it's like amazing. It's truly amazing product, and I'm happy with it.
So you said you have 7 different flavors. So what are some of the flavors?
My newest flavor is actually blueberry, raspberry blueberry, and then I have a rosé. I have a peach, which is a platinum that I have, and I have a lemonade. I have a lime, and we have a strawberry sparkle. We have a strawberry pineapple, and then I have like one that's a mixture of all 3 of them.
Oh, wow.
And then I actually have a television channel on XOD.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me about that.
Yeah, I have my own channel on the XOD on demand.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Vanessa. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I gotta have a place to put this stuff once it's done.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
I'm just honestly, I'm so proud of you. Like,
Thank you. We just have to we have to work in, undercover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I want to take this time to say thank you for being a part of the show.
You're welcome.
It's always a blast to see you. I have nothing but love for you. You have been very instrumental in my growth and different projects that I've done. So
I love it. I tell you, I love it. I'm just so amazed that when we look back at that period of time and you're like, nah, I'm like, yeah, but it's just amazing to see, what it is that you're doing.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. We're looking forward to it. Let's put it like that.
Yeah. I got a couple more projects that I'm just now starting to work on and everything. I'm super excited about it. I'm doing some production myself. Okay, so Vanessa, can you tell me how people can reach you?
Well, most of my information will be in my Instagram. That's at Van Miller International. My website is www.vanmillerinternational.com. Our number is 404-290-2239. Our email is vanmillerinternational.com. Yes.
Okay. Well, with that being said, again, thank you so much for being a part of the show. And
thank you for having us.
No problem. And we will see you guys later.
All righty. Bye-bye, guys.
If she